What's good, everybody? It's your boy Kids, and we're back with another video. Today we're still doing women's college basketball spotlights, and today we have a very special spotlight, and I'm gonna tell you guys why in just a second. But before we do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All those good things. It's free to like, it's free to subscribe, it's free to comment. Don't comment nothing crazy, but comment, please. Let's get straight into it. Payton Verhulst, man, Oklahoma guard, senior. This goes back to 2021. She was on the U19 World Cup team that when I was with a different publication, I don't even really know what you want to call it, I was with a different publication, and it was something that I chose to cover. It was really the first thing that I covered fully in women's basketball. And I knew most of them going in, but it was really me just for that week in time, just to be able to like watch them play game by game and really understand what they were as players. Payton was one of the players that I gravitated towards due to her like style of play and all that. And this is before she even played at Louisville. This is before she played a minute of college. You had players like Caitlin Clark, who was going into her juniors. No, we had Caitlin Clark, who had just played her freshman season. We had AZ Fudd, who hadn't played college yet. Lauren Betts hadn't played college yet. Tahina Powpow had just played her freshman season. Sonny Citron hadn't played college yet. And then we had Jewel Spear. We had a bunch of players. There were a bunch of players, but I really enjoyed being able to cover that team because I was able to see them from where they are then, and now I'm able to look back 4 years later and be like, okay, like a couple of them are in the WNBA, have been all-stars, have been all WNBA. A couple of them just won a national championship. Well, one of them just won a national championship. Lauren Betts has been phenomenal, potentially #1 pick. Same for AZ. So it's been really good to see these players grow and see them continue to build on their careers, and especially Payton Verhulst. She was one of those players that, like I said, I really liked her game, really felt like she was going to be really good in college. She started out at Louisville. She played 32 games her freshman season, ended up on an all-ACC freshman team. Then her second year, she only played 8 games. Still to this day, don't understand why. She decided to transfer to Oklahoma. Her junior year, she averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.2 steals, 1 block, while shooting 39% from the floor, 35% from 3, and 79% from the free throw line. She won Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. Past season, she averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 steals a game on 42% shooting, 35% from 3, and 83 from the free throw line. Made 83 3-pointers last season, which was a career high. Obviously, I think the year before she had made 57. So, obviously, she showed growth there. Well, not even growth, because she's always been able to shoot. I think she's a 34% shooter for her, 3-point shooter for her career. So, she's always been able to shoot, but being able to shoot with the volume that she shot it with. And she had some games where she absolutely lit it up. She had a game where she had a triple-double against Duke. She had a 38-point game against Missouri, which, by the way, the highlight reel, the TikTok highlight reel will be up. So it will be in the description. So if you guys want to watch that, so that what I'm saying isn't just you have to take my word for it. You can go and see like, okay, he's not lying, or okay, either you can disagree or agree with whatever I said, you know. And this year, playing with Oklahoma, she's playing still beside Reagan Beers, still beside Sahara Williams, still besides Zaya Van, who is going to be a sophomore this year, came on really late last year and had a good finish to the season, Beatrice Culleton as well. And then they have the #1 prospect from this past freshman class, or this past high school class, coming in Aaliyah Chavez. So Payton Verhulst is able to play many different roles. She's able to play really, I would say, 4 different positions. She could play point guard, she can play the 2 guard, she can play the 3, she can play the 4. Wouldn't put her at the center spot, but you're not putting most people at the center spot, especially in college basketball, because, you know, a lot of players, some people got people like Lauren Betts. You know, you don't really want to battle that down there. But nonetheless, she's super versatile, great scorer, and she's not somebody that, you know, keeps the ball in her hands a lot. She makes a player, gets off of it. She scores within the flow of an offense. She's not somebody that forces shots up or forces anything to happen on the offensive end. Like, she's going to make sure that the offense is ran the way it's supposed to. And Jenny Baranczyk is a coach that is very, very big on offense. They score a lot of points. They run a lot. They shoot a lot of threes. So she's in a great system for that kind of role. And sometimes, I've said this a bunch of times at this point, but sometimes versatility and unselfishness is a detriment, not necessarily to your team or to yourself, but more to the media, or I don't know, I wouldn't say scouts, but some scouts, because some people just don't understand that there are players that can do things. They decide to be a little bit more unselfish, if that makes sense. Like somebody like Sonia Citron, like coming into the WNBA season, I don't think there were that many people expecting her to play the way that she did. And if you had watched her in college and you followed her in college, you would know that, yes, she was, because everything that she did in college was easily translatable. And I feel the same way, like I said, for Gianna Neepkin's last video. I feel the same way about Payton Verhulst, where everything that she does right now in women's college basketball, she's going to be able to translate to the WNBA, as far as being able to shoot the three, being able to defend, being able to be a playmaker from her size, be able to rebound. Like, anything that you could ask her to do, she could do. Like, she's not going to go out there and get you 30 points, but on any given night, she could give you 25. Like, she's a very, very underrated player. I think it's been that way for, obviously, the last 2 years. But some of that probably has to do with her first 2 years at Louisville. Because a lot of times with college players, like, they're either, and especially on the women's side, like, you have to do something right away to catch people's eye. It's hard for you to have like a good start and then not really play a lot and then go back to playing a lot or go to playing a lot, and for people to give you that credit or give you that acknowledgement, you know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy to me. But sometimes you have to have enough hype coming into college, which I don't think she had a bunch of hype coming into college. And this is right after Haley Van Lith came in, so there was a little bit of that as well. I just feel like with all the things that she's capable of doing on the floor and all the things that Oklahoma wants to do, they're going to be in a great spot to potentially compete for a national championship. I think they'll at least be in the Sweet 16 again. Obviously, I don't know what the other teams would look like, but I can see them making a Sweet 16 push and maybe even past that. Like, they have the talent. I want to see what the bench is going to look like, but they have the talent, especially with having Reagan Beers and having Peyton, and then whatever. I don't say whatever you're going to get from Aaliyah Chavez, but I would assume we're getting something really good from Aaliyah Chavez, because we've seen top prospects come in the last 4 to 5 years and play really well right away. And I think she's good. She's still going to be in a system and an offense where she's asked to do a lot, but she's also not going to have to do everything. And sometimes that is a detriment to players. And I think this is a team where she has so many different options offensively that she doesn't have to go out there and try to be Aaliyah Chavez from high school. She can just be Aaliyah Chavez. And I think that was a big reason why she chose Oklahoma. But anywho, this is really just a spotlight on Payton Verhulst, because I feel like she just doesn't get enough credit for being how good she is. Like, the ability to move off the ball, the ability to play within the offense. And I say this a lot. Like, I say the ability to score within the offense, but it really is a skill. Like, it's a skill to play within an offense and still be able to go get 15 to 20 points every night and efficient. Like, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's more eye-catching to go out and score 20 to 25 points and you're not really playing within an offense, or you are the offense. And while that is prettier, it may be more entertaining, it's not the best brand of basketball, in my opinion. Some people believe it is. I don't believe that that's the best brand of basketball. And this is why you've seen most of the players that I've chosen have been either players that can do a bunch of things or players that do a few things really, really well. And Payton Verhulst is a player that does a bunch of things really, really well. Like, she shoots the ball really well. She gets to the rim, can finish through contact. She can shoot in the mid-range. She can score off the catch. She can score off the dribble. She can defend really well. She blocks shots at the rim. She gets steals. She shoots the free throw efficiently. So if you put all that into account, and she's a good rebounder for her size as well, like, when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, when we put her out on the floor, what can she not do? Or what can we try to stop her from doing if you're a scout? There's not much, because she's so good at everything. There's not one thing that you're going to try to take away. Like, you might say, like, all right, we'll try to stop her from shooting a three and try to force her to the rim, but she's pretty strong and she can get to the rim and get to whatever shot she wants in the mid-range. So she deserves more credit. That's really all this is. She deserves more acknowledgement, and I think this is one of those years where she'll get that, because Oklahoma's going to be really good this year. They were really good last year, but I think the more teams are good more times that teams are good in consecutive years, they get more acknowledgement. Similar to like Iowa State, like Audie Crooks was getting some, but Emily Ryan didn't really get any, and Addie Brown doesn't really get any, who, keep that name in mind. But there's sometimes where you just have to be on a team long enough to where you guys are in the national spotlight, and then you're like, oh, like, you guys should know about this person, or da-da-da-da. There's a few people in women's college basketball media that make sure that a lot of players are known, but there are some that just, if they're not the main ones, they don't really know. Like, I just saw a mock draft today where it had Gianna Neepkins going, I think 11. 11? I'm not even gonna get into that. But again, this is just me showing love to Payton Verhulst, and really to that 2021 under 19 team. Like, just a shout out to all of them because they've all done really well. Lauren Ware was also on that team. Like, there's a bunch of players. Like, Jersey Wolfenbarger was on the team as well. Like Tahina Powell, Lauren Betts, and AZ Fudd, Sonia Citron. Those are some of my favorite players in women's college basketball and in the WNBA. And it started right there. I mean, Tahina Powell, I really liked her freshman year at Oregon, but all those players became, like, I became fans of them because of that. So this is also a testament to them, but it's also a testament to Payton Verhulst of her continuing to get better year by year, and then betting on herself when she went to Oklahoma, because there were a lot of people that thought she should have stayed at Louisville and seen what happened, but she made the best decision for herself. She moved closer back to home. They're from Kansas originally, so she moved closer back to home and has been flourishing ever since. So shout out to Payton Verhulst, and shout out to Oklahoma, because I think they're going to have a big season. So make sure that you guys come back to the next one, because there's going to be more and more. And let's get ready for this women's college basketball season. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get ready for. Who do y'all have winning the national championship? If you stayed this long, in the comments, let me know who you have winning the national championship. Thank you guys for tuning in.